Okay, so it's now being recorded.
Okay. Oh,
I don't know who this. Do you folks know William Likely?
the name is familiar.
Should I admit him? Yep. Here we go.
Let's see what happens. Hello? Hello, William?
Hi, William. Can you hear us?
You got to unmute.
I wonder if it's somebody else's maybe phone or something.
That's what I'm wondering, if it's somebody else's phone someone's using.
Okay. Who else? So well, welcome to the Sustainability Oversight Committee meeting. Maybe we can go around and introduce ourselves. So I'm Erin Ryan. I chair the committee.
Sure, I'll go ahead. Everett Garcia, Town of Brighton, staff liaison.
Mike Guyon, Commissioner of Public Works, sort of a guest here tonight.
Nate, why don't we go with you?
Okay, Nate Gibbs, committee member.
Brian?
Brian Lynch, committee member.
Steve?
Steve Kittleberger, committee member.
And I would say Mitch, but I think we're missing him for now.
Mitch, unless is someone who is William Likely? Are you a special guest? A mystery guest?
I'm figuring out this whole Zoom thing.
Oh, okay.
So bear with me. I couldn't hear a thing. I was playing with buttons.
Okay. So are you William?
I am William, yes.
Hi, William. So are you listening? Just, tell us, are you as a guest, you just would like to listen and be part of the meeting?
Just a guess. And again, I couldn't hear a thing anybody was saying. I just unmute. I figured out how to unmute.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome.
Like you guys were talking about me.
We were
trying to figure out who you were.
All right. No problem.
No problem. You're welcome. Okay, so Everett, should we start with open forum? William, is there something you'd like to share with us in open forum?
But not at this time, no.
Do you want to maybe introduce yourself a little bit and what your interests are in sustainability?
My name is William Likely. I've been a Brighton resident for over 40 years. And just interested in participating in some of these, some of the committees, listening to see what's going on in my neighborhood.
Great. Well, welcome. Okay. Did you get to hear everyone's introduction before? I know you said you're having trouble.
I did not. No, I did not.
So maybe we should do another round of quick introductions so William can. So I'm Erin Ryan. I chair the SOC. I've been on this since I can't remember when we started, 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
William, sorry, go ahead, Mitch.
I'm Mitch Nellis. I've been on, I think, now 3 years and a Brighton resident for 8.
I'll go ahead. William, my name is Everett Garcia. I work for the Town of Brighton, staff liaison to the Sustainability Oversight Committee.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Mike Guyon. I'm the Commissioner of Public Works for the Town of Brighton. Just here to discuss the capital improvement plan later on in the agenda, you'll see.
Okay, nice to meet you as well.
Thank you. You too.
Nate, why don't we go ahead with you?
Yeah, I'm Nate Gibbs. I've been a resident of Brighton since 2011, and I'm a member of the committee.
Brian?
Yep, Brian Lynch, resident of Brighton for 6 years, member of the committee for I think just under a year, and have worked in the sustainability industry for about 15 years.
And I'm Steve Kittleberger. I've been on the committee since it was founded back in, oh, how long ago? 15 years anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I might have overstepped my boundaries because I didn't know exactly what the meeting, the purpose of the meeting, so I apologize.
No apology. We always have, public is always welcome and invited, and we have something called an open forum in case, someone wants to do a presentation, but people have sat in on our meetings and listened, so we're always happy for people to listen. And actually, I think, Mitch, did you sit on some of our meetings for a while just to get a sense of what was going on before eventually he applied to be on the committee, right?
Yeah, I attended for, I don't know, about 6 months maybe,
Yeah.
watching you guys work, sitting in the background, judging, taking notes. Then finally I pushed someone out and got on the committee.
That's funny.
Yeah. So being involved in the town is a great thing, and hopefully, whether it's here or somewhere else, another committee, the town is always welcome to have volunteers. So
Thank you.
okay. All right. So why don't we start with the minutes?
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'll just go ahead and scroll slowly through this stuff here, and you let me know if you need me to stop or go slower or fast.
Everett, can you make that a little bigger
Yes.
without losing everybody?
Is that good?
That's better, yeah.
Any questions, or do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and the minutes are passed.
Aaron, do you want me to talk a little bit about the Climate Action Plan grant?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have much to report on from our last meeting. I continue to work through the process with the grant manager. I submitted everything. They came back with a few comments, one of them being they needed some revisions to the insurance certificate provided to the DEC, naming them as a requesting agency for the insurance certificate. They also want me to go through some of the personnel budgetary numbers that I provided. Now this is the contract manager. So the grant manager didn't think there was an issue, but the contract manager has some questions, and I'm waiting to hear exactly what their concerns and questions are before providing them with an update. So that's kind of where I'm at, just working through the process. It's long and slow. Do you have any questions or comments?
It's moving ahead, so that's great.
I can only say I'm getting a little nervous by the amount of detail they're requesting from us. That's all.
Okay. Is this not normal?
It's going to be, I mean, we've done a NYSERDA grant in the past for the comp plan, right? And it became administratively, the administration of it became quite the burden. And I'm afraid this might be the same thing. We'll wait and see. I mean, it's $40,000. We're not going to complain too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Has there been any, what about the parallel effort with multiversity with that grant? Is there similar detailed comments or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And they're a little bit, I'd say Ramsey's a little bit behind. He's probably about 1 step behind, 2 steps behind you ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next item here, do you want me to move on to development updates?
Sure.
I wasn't sure where you wanted me to put these, but I figure we'll leave capital improvements for the end here.
It looks like someone's here.
Yeah, 63, it's a phone number.
I don't have my phone on me, so
Do you want me to go ahead and admit them?
sure, it's got to be Robin or Shubhang.
Yep. Hello?
Hi, Everett. This is Robin. I was just stuck in another meeting for the channel, so I'm just calling it.
No problem, Robin. So you are live on the meeting.
Okay.
To let you know, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Nope. Am I very loud? Sorry.
I think there was a car we heard. That was about it.
Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and I guess continue with the development updates here. And Mike, feel free to jump in whenever you want here. But just something that we do every meeting, just kind of give an update on various projects throughout the town. First project here that we'll touch base on is Winter's Farmers Market. Similar to last meeting, utility construction is underway, sewer is connected. We're waiting for the water authority to tap the main to connect, working through electrical installation and gas service installation. We have a meeting later this week with BLM, who's our contractor for the interior renovations. And that's kind of where we're at with that. Geothermal ordinance.
Can I add a little bit to that, Everett, real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Yes, just so everybody's aware, with the Winter's Farmers Market, we have the contractor BLM doing the building work, the interior, making that an occupiable building. But I want to put kudos to our sewer department. They're out there working to put the sanitary sewer in. They're going to be putting in the trail. They're going to be, we're trying to spread these dollars as far as we can. So the intent there is to use our staff, our highway department, our sewer department to do a lot of the site improvements. And that's sort of what we're trying to do with the next phase too. I think we have about another $1 million to spend on this thing. And we still have to build like a building and a half. We just got an updated estimate from Insight Architecture. It's between $600,000 and $800,000 they're estimating that building. That leaves us money for site work, but not near enough. But I think we can stretch it pretty far with using our crews. So I'm hoping we can get a good portion of the project built for the money we have. I mean, so just to let you guys know how we're trying to approach this thing and attack it.
So going down the line here, geothermal ordinance, very similar. As you're aware, we've had various instances where drillers have hit pockets of methane gas when installing geothermal loops here in the town. And so we've developed a permit process where we obtain contact information and have pre-con meetings with the contractor prior to start of work, so we know who to notify, have to call emergency services if something happens. Highland.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in again. You guys will get sick of me before long.
No, go ahead.
I just, we have one thing we try to do with these drillers is have a pre-construction meeting before they start construction. And one thing we've been somewhat successful at is reducing the depth of the wells.
Yeah.
We've had people go from a 500-foot well or just slightly less than 500-foot well to, 250-foot wells or 3 175-foot wells, things of that nature. And we haven't had another incident of methane, which is good. So we're trying to keep them shallower wells. I think it might be a little more expensive because they have to reposition the rig, but I'm not sure it's a significant expense yet.
Highland Crossing Trail, that's been completed, constructed. Mike, is there anything left to do on that?
No, we need to close it out. That's all. Financially close it out.
Okay. 1925 South Clinton, that's across the street from Tops on South Clinton. There you see the Doodlebugs daycare facility going in. I think they're looking to open up by this coming fall. They're in fairly good shape, so they're working towards that. Town Hall HVAC evaluation project wasn't included in the 2020 budget. We've included it in the CIP request. We'll continue to work towards that goal. Robin, I might need you here. CCA, my understanding is that we issued a bid request for energy service.
Yeah, we did issue the RFP. It came back, that was with the 12-month benchmark, and because energy prices have been dropping over the past 12 months, we did not come back with a conforming bid. So we're going out to market again. All the towns have met with the administrator at this point, and we're developing a new RFP. And so I don't know that we're going to go with the 24-month benchmark because I think we kind of figure that if we go to renew our contract in 2 years, it's kind of an arbitrary set point. You know, we just want to make sure that the value is there. So if the energy prices are coming in lower than any 100% renewable project or product that the consumer can purchase, that is essentially good value. So I don't know if we're going to actually tie the RFP in the future to some sort of historic benchmark, or if we're just going to say it has to come in with a certain value benchmark. So we're in the process of developing it. We hope to go out to bid again very soon once all the towns have kind of agreed what our RFP is going to look like, and we also might go with individual RFPs that have the potential for all the towns being included if certain criteria are met. So you know, things are very much up in the air right now, but we do hope to get another RFP out within the month.
Real quick, Robin, it's not atypical to include a clause in the contract that says that the price through the CCA should be indexed to what the retail price of power is, and basically the CCA price can never exceed the retail price, and effectively the CCA or whoever's selling them energy takes the risk of the wholesale market, but that effectively protects residents that they don't have a inverted bill by opting into the CCA.
Exactly, and that is the type of wording we're looking for, as opposed to the historic benchmarking that we've had done in the past.
Okay. If I can help in any way, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Jewel is coming up with a bunch of different options. We just haven't, decided on the wording as yet. But as you can imagine, with 4 different municipalities in the mix, everybody's got their different priorities, and so that's why we're kind of looking at whether we want to do a Brighton RFP, a Rondequoit RFP, Pittsburgh RFPs, and see to what extent we have things in common that we can put out, and then let the respondents kind of deal with the different criteria that each town is putting forth, as opposed to us trying to come up with a consensus model.
Okay, sounds good.
This is William. Aaron, I'm not sure if this is appropriate, but is it okay for me to ask a question?
I think so.
Okay.
Everett, right? Everett,
Yeah.
Mike, I think it should be fine. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, William.
On that RFP, I'm a retired director of supply chain. So I have a lot of experiences in that. So Robin, I was going to ask, is that the RFP, is that being handled internally, or have you solicited an outside source to actually do that?
We hired a CCA administrator that's dual assets. That position actually went out for bid as well early on in the CCA process. We had 2 respondents to that RFP, Good Energy and Dual Assets, and through the selection process, all of the municipalities decided to go with Dual Assets as the administrator. So they are actually developing the RFP based on feedback from each of the respective municipalities.
Understood. And I truly understand it could become chaotic, because I was in charge of probably 20 different aggregated businesses, and it was somewhat of a nightmare to get everybody on board and get everyone's needs met. So I'm sure it's a difficult task, but I would offer, as just a Brighton resident of over 40 years, if I can offer my service as a review, legally or from a purchasing perspective.
Thank you. Sometimes we do have questions, and I think our administrator has done a good job of kind of going over all of the vagaries of the market with us. But it's a very technical area, so we might take you up on that offer.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
so Robin, William he's just sitting in our meeting because he's interested in getting involved in the town of Brighton as a volunteer. So there could be, I know Robin leads other committees, so there could be other opportunities.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great. So I'll continue down the line here with our projects. Town-wide street lighting. We continue to engage RG&E regarding the purchase of our lighting system. It's something we'll keep working on. We are currently, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, we secured a grant to replace the existing Cobra Head street lights.
Yeah, I'll jump back after this. We do have a grant. Well, it's a what do we call them? It's a SAM grant. So we're just working through the process. We've been working through the process probably for 18 months now. So hopefully we'll get that resolved, and that will replace all our Cobra Head streetlights with LEDs. It'll also replace all of our town parking lights in the back with LEDs and some lights at the parks with LEDs. So it was $150,000 grant, somewhere in that area. So that'll be nice. These grants just take so much time to get through the process. That's all. I also wanted to talk to the town-wide street lighting because I've had some good news. We haven't had much good news with that. Been working with Veronica Dasher, who's been exceptional, and we also have a new contact now, Kristen Williams. And they both working really hard. They found a source of the old ARP lights. So they went through, did an inventory, found out there was about 77 lights that weren't working. And they got all those lights working, and most of those lights weren't working because we couldn't find parts. So they did find a way to find some parts for those lights, which is exceptional. But even better news, they are working with, I think it was Main Street, on a prototype LED HARP light. They're not ready to roll it out yet, but there's progress being made. And that's the first we've heard that. And both those representatives from RG&E have been outstanding for us. So. Veronica's actually she's a resident of Brighton, so she's invested interest in it too. So we're excited. I'm excited about that because that's been going on since we started.
That's extremely exciting. I'm sorry, this is Robin again. I'm literally jumping up and down over here. So yay!
Yeah, it was good, Robin. It was great news to hear.
Awesome. All right, the Town Hall Rose Garden, we installed the landscaping for that project. Did we finalize those 2 trees, Mike?
Gary, I'm trying to think. I think there's just one outstanding tree ever. So I've been pushing Gary to do it, but it's been so hot and dry, he just hasn't. Right. He just want to put him in and watch him die. That's all.
Yeah. Climate action plan. We talked a little about this. So we received the grant, working through that process. I'll continue to keep you updated on where we're at. Similar to the multiversity plan, I received the grant, now working through that budgetary review process before we can finalize and execute the contracts. Last but not least, the highway management plan. We have town staff out surveying existing road conditions that we hope to import into our GIS system and develop a rating and scoring system that we can display and use on our future CIP requests and evaluations. Mike, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just, I know I always talk too much at this meeting, but right now we work on a 10-year cycle for our roads. So every 10 years we resurface them, or that's the plan. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, because it's still dependent on the amount of funding we get from during the budget period. I think this rating system will allow us to better manage our roads, maintain a certain rating, as opposed to waiting till they deteriorate and try to fix them. That can be very costly. But if we can somehow maintain a set rating, should save us money, should make our roads much more consistent. You know, some roads shouldn't be full of potholes and some roads shouldn't be brand new. It should be, every road should have a pretty consistent look to it. So that's the goal.
So that's all I have for development updates. Are there any questions? Okay. Aaron, I threw this in there just because we talked about it at the last meeting, but there probably isn't any updates to this, but just, it was sort of a reminder, because I know, Brian, I think you brought it up last time, something that we wanted to get back into once the SOC got going again. But I just left it in there as a reminder here. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I guess, does anybody have any updates? Or I know I don't from my perspective. I haven't had a chance.
No, the Electrification and Transportation Committee met in February before the world collapsed, and I had reached out to a couple EV charging vendors that offer like no-cost solutions where we would just provide town-owned property as a hosting site, and then they would effectively bill users of the system. And in the last 6 months, probably the best contender for that EVgo was acquired by another company. I lost my contact there. So I still think that's probably the right path to pursue on that, but let's wait until things normalize a little bit. But I just wanted to provide the update for the benefit of the group, because there was work done there. And the other committee I'm on is the Communications Committee, and that group has been completely dormant since COVID, and there's probably really nothing to communicate about what we're doing at this point, unless anyone feels differently.
Yeah.
We haven't met, but there is some progress with regard to, I'm on the tree program, urban forestry, I guess we would call it. You know, working with Color Bright and Green. I don't know if this fits under our umbrella, but we've got the space, and we've been sort of growing roughly about 100-something trees, with about, I don't know, we got about 20 or 30 of them ready to go out into the community. Some of them I'm planning to try to approach the town and residents to get them in street side in the fall. Not 100, but like maybe like, I'm optimistically saying about 10 or so that would hopefully go in street side in the fall. If everything goes according to plan, I'll be putting in and calling Dig Safe New York for on behalf of the residents.
Great.
Nice little nursery going, and it's pretty successful. The other thing I was thinking about is, might be a little early, but maybe sometimes the way things move, it's not too early, is I've really found a lot of resources out there with regard to pollinator habitats. I thought that was an easy, low cost kind of thing that the town could get involved in. And I've been sort of doing research on how we could expand that a little bit. And I'm not sure who was on the original committee, But it seemed like something that would be very visual and I don't know, kind of like just something that's not very expensive, but also something that a lot of people would be able to see that we're doing. So it's sort of like just sort of a signal that the efforts are still going forward and something very visual for people. I don't know if that's something we could push for the town to, I guess, embrace a little bit more. And again, I'm looking at like street side stuff, you know, public lands, you know, trying to figure out a format to put pollinator beds out. And it's a real big push statewide. I know they're thinking about doing it along the canal, that kind of thing. So it's something that's got a lot of support.
Mitch, I was looking at that too.
Yeah.
I may have a lead to a professor at RIT that works on that and has been doing work on RIT on that. So I'd be interested in working with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something where you all you need is some, you know, some flower beds, some seeds and soil, and all of a sudden you got some something that really brightens the community and provides something that's very useful to the environment, which I think is pretty interesting. But yeah, definitely we should talk.
The only thing I'd ask when you guys get ready, just, you know, give me a call. We can sit down and talk about it.
We're just gonna start planting stuff.
Well, that's might be the easier way to go, Mitch, but.
You're gonna yell at us for planting flowers, Mike? Come
on. Not publicly.
No, I was thinking that it'd be nice to have some sort of, I don't know, goal or, I don't know,
It sounds like it could be something that could be part of our, we can add to our CAP, right? Our climate action plan, you know, because that's not in there right now. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Or we could, yeah.
One thing
who doesn't love flowers, you know?
Yeah, one thing I've been wondering about is like highway medians and so forth, because there's just a lot of mown grass, and I know that there are regulations about how you have to keep the edges of streets, you know, clear, or the edges of highways clear, but it does seem like one area where there's a great amount of just grass that's, you know, that we spend time and energy mowing that we don't have to. I don't know, Mike.
It could end up, I mean, it could end up something that saves us money, you know. Flower beds take a lot less maintenance than, you know, 3-inch grass. Stuff like that.
With our roads, generally where you see those medians, Nate, are county roads and state roads.
Okay.
Most of our roadside are properties, right? So most people take care of that portion, the tree lawns and right out to the road. You know, it's an interesting concept. Some homeowners have taken that concept to heart and planted wildflowers in their yards, and they're some of the nicest looking yards we have too. It's I'd be interested in see how you want to do it. The parks might be a little bit tough, but I'm not saying it's not undoable. We got lots of land. So it's I'm just curious more than anything, to tell you the truth. I don't think it's planning in the right of way could be difficult because you're probably going to impact private property. People may not want them in front of their yards. The state and the county, I'd be glad to approach them with it. They don't want to have to mow that either. We do have areas that we mow. If we could eliminate mowing, that would be great. But I don't want to eliminate mowing and also end up with a whole bunch more maintenance doing something else.
Yeah, of course not.
Right. That would be my only concern.
Good ideas. All right. Well, those are great ideas. And I don't know if that could be part of the, maybe not the CIP, but something to think about for our CAP. I definitely. Great. Anything else from the focus area groups? I know water, we haven't met, and I was part of communication, so I haven't done anything. So should we move on to our CIP review?
So I can bring it up.
Everett, do you maybe want to explain what this is for our guest
Yeah.
and our other viewers?
Yeah, so every year the town develops their capital improvement plan, which is a 3-year outlook on projects that are $20,000 or more. Usually big ticket items, big trucks, large infrastructure improvements, that type of stuff. And so as part of that process, a lot of input is provided from various stakeholders, one of them being the Sustainability Oversight Committee. And this is what we're doing, gathering input from the SOC that we can then take back to the finance committees and departments on suggestions for capital improvement projects.
So this is one of our duties as a committee, and we put together a report every year, and Everett had sent out our report from last year.
Yeah, this is
and I think Mitch and I actually went and spoke to the town board, right? At a meeting in October or September, I can't remember now. Maybe July, I don't know, about, some key recommendations. And I know they do appreciate our thoughts, so.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if you wanted to just review the letter or if you wanted to review the draft CIP, or if you want to go about it.
I was actually, maybe we should kind of use the letter as the starting point because it's sectioned into topic areas, if it makes sense, unless someone else has a better idea. Then we can go back, unless it just might be easier that way. And did anyone email in any comments?
Yeah, I received,
go ahead.
sorry, Robin. I received comments from Shubangi and Mitch. So I can bring those up as well if you want.
My comments were pretty much, everything looks pretty good. And I just looked at a couple of budget line items and everything looked consistent. And it looked like it was something that we could support as far as the trees and parks and stuff like that.
Mitch says we're good.
Robin?
I was just going to say that in light of the drastic changes that we might see to tax relief, we might want to add something in there about the impact of COVID, especially on just our energy consumption, because it has changed drastically. And then I would also, I will send in a comment about the potential that perhaps the town, because their contract is coming up for renewal with the energy consortium that they're currently in, they might be able to join our CCA. So that might be something that we want to look at it. So again, I just feel like there should be some nod given to the very different circumstances that we're in right now and the potential impact that might have on our capital improvement projects. That's it.
I agree. So that nod with I'm assuming that would be, we should add a paragraph on that, or I'm just trying to think of how that would affect.
Yeah, I think we can include it in the opening paragraph here, where we generally make, some comments to that effect. If you like, we can throw something in there.
Yeah, the opening paragraph usually says something about current circumstances, and so I just want to make sure that our tax receipts and COVID is included in that opening salvo.
And can you explain this, Robin, a little bit for me and maybe others? So what's the impact from that you're talking about specifically? That
Well,
we're gonna
just
have less,
yeah,
revenues have
specifically
gone down.
our revenue numbers have basically fallen off a cliff.
Right.
So, you know, so I feel like, you know, just to acknowledge that reality somewhere, it's all well and good to look back at what we had planned, but I do think that we need to just say that realistically, because our revenue is going to be so impacted by COVID, we understand that, and you know, maybe acknowledge some of the bright spots in terms of you know, the energy consumption decreasing, at least on the town level, or something. I mean, I think that we're just in very different circumstances than we have been, and how that's going to impact our 3-year outlook is should be acknowledged some way. I don't know that I know exactly how to phrase it, but definitely we should. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll know better once we actually see what we're dealing with, because I don't know what aid we're going to get either. So, but it's going to be a very different CIP year, I think.
Yeah. Everett can maybe draft something about the, certainly we acknowledge that this is a very challenging circumstance in this pandemic, and the loss of revenues and a lot of uncertainty, but we're still hopeful to keep, moving forward, and, yeah, I'm sure we can come up with something.
I think that would go a long way.
Yeah. Sustainability is about lots of things: people, economics, and environment. So, I was thinking, like in the general comments, we have like a congratulating on some efforts. We could take out what we already, from last. We don't need to have everything in there, but we should, talk about the completion and, the completion of the Highland Crossing Trail, the securing of the multiversity, the Cobra overhead lighting grant, and the CAP grant. I think if we could highlight some of those things, the appreciation for the staff to work on, you mentioned it, Mike, appreciation for the staff to work on the site development for the Winter's Farmers Market, as well as continue to, finish that project. Just things like that. I was just at the top of my head.
Aaron, I absolutely agree. Those are all really good inclusion.
Did anybody else have any ideas for like something to like give a warm fuzzy to the town on sustainability solutions?
I don't know if it's not something that's concrete, but I run in a lot of circles, and Brighton, I'm often asked about being on these committees, and Brighton is often held up as a model for other communities because of this committee and other organizations within town that don't exist otherwhere in other towns. So I don't know if that could be worded in there that I get a feeling that we're a leader in the area.
Good idea.
Maybe adding a comment that sustainability, if done right, will in the long term save the town and taxpayers money. And there's likely to be a host of state and federal grants available over the next year as more stimulus money is released, and that the SOC will endeavor to seek these out on behalf of the town, basically be good financial stewards while maintaining the objectives of the Oversight Committee.
I mean, we've reached a point where sustainability and fiscal responsibility go hand in hand. You know, in so many different realms of these issues that, you know, that's worth mentioning.
Right.
So Everett, if you want to mash that all together into like 3 sentences.
Yeah, that's what I'm putting. I'm writing up notes, so I'll put something together, send it over your way, maybe late tomorrow. You know, Friday morning at the latest, because finance does want this by Friday at the latest.
Right.
So I'll try to get this out to you as soon as possible, and you guys can take a look at it, add comments, and let me know what you think, and we can certainly go from there.
Okay. And maybe another congratulation comment, like about the police department purchasing. They purchased 3 vehicles or 2 vehicles last year, right? And they're continuing to. Is the budget have more?
I don't know, Aaron. I know there were some budgeted this year. I don't know if they've gotten purchased yet or not, but I know they were budgeted.
Yeah.
I do think I do seem to recall a fast item where at least one of the vehicles was purchased.
So they purchased 1 at least, right? I know they had.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
purchased at least 1 already.
Okay, and I think it's in the budget, right? So we support that, right? Okay. So
I
we
think
could
there's three for this year were budgeted.
Yeah. So we could put a congratulations for purchasing it and taking that other comment, just, you know, there's a comment on vehicles later, just, you know, supporting their continued purchase of electric vehicles.
Yeah, I will look up the exact information because and get that to you, Everett.
Okay.
Yep.
I just looked at the CIP there. You can probably push out the tabs too, Everett, on the CIP because the police is on there.
Where are they?
It's further down. You have to, tabs are hidden.
Oh, there we go.
There.
Wow, it's like magic.
Yeah. So, so you see there was 3 this year at 114, and then they're hybrid models, and there's 4 proposed for next year. Hybrid models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of the comments are probably very similar. Does anybody have any comments in the general comment section that they want to suggest? We could look to vehicles and equipment now. Any thoughts on any changes there? You had mentioned in the project development about the ratings. Oh no, that's different for the roads. I don't know if the GPS operating vehicles, I didn't always look at the year, but
Oh, you're talking about we equip our
trucks.
machines with GPS?
Yes.
Yeah, that is in the budget again this year. I reduced the magnitude quite a bit. Basically just reduced the number of vehicles we put it in.
Yeah, I don't know if that was in a comment in the vehicles and equipment section, but I would want to make sure it is, you know, that we support that, because I think having the GPS in the vehicles will help with the efficiency, right, in the routing.
Yeah.
And less greenhouse gas emissions. the software the software routing, was that in this year or next year?
I don't know if we have that in this year. I don't
Okay.
think we put it in this year. We've been having a hard time finding something that's really worth
Yeah.
using, honestly.
There was something else I was thinking. Again, oh, the charging stations. I think we have that up above as a comment. I guess that we don't, yeah.
Right.
Any other, I mean, are there anything, a lot of these really tend to kind of, we just keep suggesting, keep pushing it for the next year, but it just needs some maybe some slight tweaking of the language.
Yeah, Aaron, I can go through and make sure they're, current. So like if we reference older past terminology or something like that, I can make sure it's, for 2021.
Right. Some of the vehicles. And
charging stations, I'm sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, go on, go.
For the section on charging stations, the subcommittee on electric vehicles, we could just broaden the language to mention that we support the installation of charging stations at other public parks as well as Buckland and the Winters Farmers Market. We thought there were other opportunities there.
I think there's like a truck replacement or something in the Parks Department that's in the budget. Like they have a Jeep that they want a pickup truck or something. That might be a vehicle to add in that either maybe they can look to a hybrid, SUV, or maybe there's a hybrid, something so more energy efficient vehicle. Unless they actually really need a pickup truck. Yeah, it's like, well, that might not be. Maybe the pickup truck's different. The park department vehicle, maybe that's pushed. That might not be for this year.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Anything under buildings? Anyone notice? I was just thinking, before COVID, and I don't know where this would fit in. Everett, you were working to do that treasure hunt.
Yeah, they reached out and basically told me that is on hold.
Yeah.
Due to the public health emergency. So I can really reach back out to them and see if, where they're at in that process. But as far as I know, we are currently on hold.
I mean, maybe it's because that's about doing an energy audit, right?
Yeah.
So maybe in modifying that bullet to say, before COVID, we had started this process and hope once things unpause, move forward, we can begin that again.
Yeah. And Mike, you can probably chime in here, but I think we got this done. The mechanics garage and salt barn converted to LED.
I don't know if the salt barn has been, the mechanics garage has been. Makes a huge difference too, by the way. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, most of the highway department over there, the offices are all LED at this point.
So is that under lighting?
Go ahead. I was just going to say the only other thing we're doing, we're in the process of designing the library roof now. So that should come to fruition also next year if we can fund it.
Right.
There's a note about exploring feasibility for solar. When we talked about that like a year ago, the town was buying power at a wholesale rate of like 4 cents or something, insanely cheap. Is the library on the same rate schedule? Because we can cross that off the list if it is.
I'm gonna probably look to Everett, but I believe so, Brian. It's all comes in through the town hall. They don't have I don't even know if they have a separate meter. I think it's all from our.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you can probably cross that one off or just make a comment. The SOC has done a high level analysis and determined economics don't allow for solar at the current time, but will, continue to evaluate market pricing.
Yeah, so we have the grant to modify the Cobra head lighting. So that some of that language under lighting needs to be modified, I think.
Yep.
And Mike, you mentioned that RG&E is sort of trying to investigate some LED prototypes or something that maybe somewhere in that section that will not only keep pursuing this, but keep encouraging them to test out these prototype LED harp
Absolutely.
fixtures, something like that. Anything else under lighting? If I'm going too fast, let me know. And then we have this sort of catch all other section, which some of that's
I wonder if this is William.
Yeah. Yeah.
The lighting is tied into my RG&E bill. The last 2 months, I had bills that were $800, and I'm the only person here. And I'm saying this flippantly, but I don't know what's going on. And that's something I would have to deal with RG&E, I guess.
Wow, it seems really high.
$800, $755, and then 2 weeks later, another $800. And I'm saying, what's going on here?
I just check your meter read, William, make sure that they weren't estimating and they came back and did a meter read on you too. That tends to result in those types of results. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
I did that, and they gave me a credit of $170.
Okay.
Which doesn't make sense because my bill is never over 120. So
yeah,
to go from 120 to $800 in 2 weeks, twice in 2 times is something's not right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thanks for allowing me to inject some humor.
Of course. I was thinking, I mean, this is just something maybe to add in that catch-all section. I don't know if this is possible, but I was looking at, there's some server equipment replacement going on. And of course, I'm speaking with very little knowledge of why they need these servers, but maybe, for them to pursue, can we suggest to look into the future of rather than purchasing servers, is there a possibility to move to the cloud? Because there could be some savings as well as, efficiencies in heating, ventilation, right? It takes a lot of energy to cool servers. And again, I'm speaking with very limited knowledge. Maybe they need the servers a certain amount, but it's just, something I was thinking about.
Aaron, no, that's a really good point. This is Robin again.
Yeah.
We have been making investments in proprietary servers, but the potential savings is there to go to the cloud. I don't know what requirements there are for municipalities in terms of security or whatnot, but you know, we can definitely bring that up with Jeremy, see if he has some suggestions in that area. Thanks.
And I don't know, Mitch, did you look at the tree section? It's all really about pruning and the treating the trees for the disease. But you know, we have that parallel effort with Color Bright and Green, and I don't know if there's money, maybe there's no money in there to plant trees, right, Mitch? Or Mike, you know,
Mitch, you're muted, but I can answer. We do have money in there to purchase trees and plant replacement trees, yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's even a nod to Color Bright and Green for developing the nursery to encourage, you know, additional trees to be planted. I don't know, something like that.
I didn't know if that would fit in or not. I mean, a different entity, but I'd be happy to get the publicity for it. I mean, we do it a little bit on the cheap, so we save the town a little money with replacement. But we don't do the replacement that they do as far as once we remove a tree.
So you're growing trees, right? Is that?
Yeah. We're growing trees until they're big enough to be planted within the town.
So are these trees the town could use or purchase, or?
Yeah, I mean,
we
don't care where they go as long as they go in Brighton someplace.
Right.
Right. I didn't know if it was. I don't know how the budgets work, if we could work with the town or not.
We can certainly talk, Mitch. I don't know. You know, we plant a certain size tree. I don't know how big your trees are. You know, residents have come to expect a certain size tree to be put in there.
I mean, we could talk. Some of them are big, and some of them aren't so big.
Yeah. And we generally buy ours. Yours are your roots are bare roots, right? That's how you would do it. We dig them and plant them.
We start them there, and then we grow them to. We look for height, not so much caliper. So we grow, 5 feet or above. They're ready to go. But I mean, they're not like you guys usually do, like 2-3 inch caliper trees. We don't get them that big.
Yeah. Well, we can talk. We'll just plan on doing that. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thoughts under any general other kind of ideas from the CIP that we should add in or modify existing wording?
Did we want to mention? I mean, it's very premature because we just mentioned it. The what we talked about with pollinator beds, that kind of thing. Maybe giving. I don't know how people feel about giving back, land that we maintain to nature, wildflowers, that kind of thing, as a cost savings. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not opposed to putting the idea under the other, like for the town to investigate pollinator habitats and
just
reducing
maintaining less.
Right. And how,
I mean, the way I would word it would be to explore the use of pollinator habitats and explore, any cost savings or any reduced maintenance costs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because I mean, like I said, the more we can reduce maintenance costs, I'm all in. The other thing, Aaron, I was thinking about is encouraging the purchase of, and I don't know ever, you have to chime in, but encouraging the purchase of laptops, which would significantly allow us to work remotely if necessary.
Interesting. So that is not in here. I know the library has computers for replacement in here, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't. That's not part of our budget anymore. It's all controlled by Jeremy. It's all controlled by technology. So
is that a capital or an operating budget?
Anything over $20,000 becomes a CIP issue. So I don't know how many computers he wants to purchase, but a general statement like that might not be a bad statement to make.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with it. It reduces our scope 3 emissions, right? And it provides flexibility for our employees.
Yeah, certainly can. It can certainly reduce our driving time and driving emissions and things of that nature.
Then you got to work all the time.
I know. No rest for the weary.
Robin?
No, I hadn't said anything, and no, I totally agree. I know that we've already made some budget transfers to replace desktops with laptops. So, yeah, looking forward, we should definitely incorporate that into the plan.
And maybe for any of these, including the library, to make sure they're purchasing Energy Star, you know, devices. Or EP, there's certain ratings there. Energy Star, as well as EPEAT, EPEAT. I can't remember what it stands for. Electronic Purchasing, Environmental Assessment, blah, 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 something. Make sure you get the most environmentally highly performing device.
Yeah.
Good. Any other thoughts? There were some sidewalk replacements going on, or is it just repairs, normal repairs?
We have an annual maintenance and repair program.
Okay.
So it's repairing sidewalk that's damaged or worn out.
So it's not like new sidewalks.
The only new sidewalks you'll generally see, Aaron, are stuff we have gotten CDBG funding for.
Okay.
Like we're going to do sidewalks along French Road, the whole length of French Road to the canal. That was all funded through the CDBG. And every year we make applications for that.
Right. So maybe just a statement, I don't know where that would fit in on maybe about continuing to pursue opportunities to, you know, build our sidewalk infrastructure and improve it. Because it's important for the bikeability, walkability of our community and safety of our residents.
Can I ask about the sidewalks on Monroe Avenue for the project to, you know, to slow the rainwater, you know, so it doesn't go into the sewer system really quickly? That was really well done, but some of those sidewalks are really showing wear and tear. Is there a plan to maintain those or to expand that program around the rest of this town?
The plan for those sidewalks, they really, salt is not a friend of that porous concrete, Nate. So I put money in the budget this year to replace a portion of those, primarily where people drive across them, because I think that's where we're seeing the most deterioration. There is not a plan to put porous sidewalks anywhere else in the town. They're expensive. Not so much the material, the concrete material. There's probably 2 feet of stone underneath each one of those sidewalks, plus, you know, drainage tile. So, because I've been exploring the idea of taking it and actually constructing it strategically at the lowest points in sidewalks where it collects water.
Yeah.
And then just put it in there. We're still considering that, but it's just a matter of the expense of it. You know, that would allow the water to get out of those areas. And from my standpoint, that solves a lot of headaches for me and for the residents. So it will be something we talk about. It's just a matter of trying to make it all happen.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I was just wondering.
Yep.
Okay, any other thoughts? I think it looks good.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and make those changes, send it over your way, just to take a quick look, and then we'll go ahead and submit it to Finance Department.
Great, thank you, Everett.
Yep.
And a big thank you to Everett also for doing all the notes and putting everything together. You know, thank you.
From home.
Thank you, Everett.
No problem. Let's see.
Okay, so where are we?
I think that was it as far as the agenda goes. I don't know if anybody has any other new business or comments.
So our next meeting, September 2nd, put on the calendar.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. Maybe the grant will, maybe.
Yeah. And I imagine it's going to continue to be on Zoom. So if anybody has any questions about how this is all working or comments or anything like that, certainly let me know.
Great. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care. Nice to meet you.
Bye bye, guys.
Thank you all for allowing me to attend. I learned quite a bit. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming.
Be well, be safe.
Take care.
All right, good night.
Thank
Good
you
night,
all.
everybody.
Good night. Stay safe.
Okay, bye.